Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 3 of the 2024-25 Optegra Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, and for the first time on commentary, David D, for what promises to be a fantastic fixture between Leeds Dynamos and Teesside Still. David, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. Really excited for this one. We was just having a conversation off air, assuming that the title race is going to be decided between either GBG Knights or Muscle Warriors. The compelling kind of narrative and the question is who will get that third place playoff, and these two are very much in contention for that. And that hopefully will translate into a very entertaining game. Let's go through the squads quickly and then we can talk about how these two have fared and have a little conversation about Sale United. So to start with, the designated home team, Teesside Still, coached by Graham Mulgrew, have Charlie Connolly, Jamil Khan, Thomas Met, Isaac Murray, Luke Heenan and Oscar Mulgrew. They won their earlier game 2-0. So they're bringing some nice confidence into this one. Likewise with Leeds Dynamos coming off the back of a 3-1 win over Hull and East Yorkshire. They're comprised of Jack McNaughton, Reece Stewart, Ben Robinson and Liam Chadwick. Apologies for that. But yeah, Leeds Dynamo squad there, coached by Lewis Harris and Seb Copeland, without some key players this weekend. So if ever you're going to play Leeds Dynamos, you're going to want it to be during game week 3. They're without Jack Humphreys, they're without Hayden Lambert, and they're without Seb Copeland, who's performing a role as just the coach today. So very intriguing. What are your thoughts on this one then, David?
You know what? I think it could be a very entertaining game. I think it will be very end-to-end. I think it'll be attacking football, and I think we're in for a high-scoring game here.
I very much hope so. I very much hope so. Talking about, let's have a little conversation about Sale United, for which you of course play for. Give me your thoughts on how you've found this season. And from the outside looking in, it's been a real transitional phase. You've obviously seen the departures of some key players in the off-season. How has it been adapting to that, and how are you finding your football at the moment?
Look, I mean, obviously we've had very major adaptations to the squad, but we've definitely managed to combat that with new signings to the squad, such as Mason and although we've had Joey Levine obviously go on loan to Manchester United, I feel like the first half of the season when he played for us, he was very good, and I think we've got more to show than we've had this weekend. We definitely can play better, and I know we can get our next few results if we play like we did have done in these first 2 games.
Yeah, I said it on commentary earlier. The defeat to GBG Knights doesn't tell the full picture. If you're looking at face value, you were very competitive in that one, and certainly when you're considering the placements of both GBG Knights and Sale United prior to the game kicking off, I think they was in 1st and you was in 8th. So if you're basing it off table and the expectations, you would think GBG Knights would be far and away the runaway winners, but that wasn't how it played out. You're so defensively sound, which we've kind of spoken about. It's just finding that attacking output, and no doubt you will have a role to play within that. I think I've said it on commentary, I've said it on a podcast. I love you've got a really kind of a fluid positional relationship with Jack Hassan, and you'll see often you'll take the role in the centre, then Jack Hassan will take it in the centre. It's just trying to find the alternate winger, whether that's Daniel Holt, whether that's Mason Davies. It's really exciting. Let's bring up the league table so you can see kind of what we're referencing and how close it is at the top. And that race for third is almost more compelling than the title race, because the title will almost certainly be decided between either GBG Knights or Muscle Warriors. A win here for Leeds Dynamos would see them leapfrog Manchester United in the standings, with that game advantage. Villa Rockets likewise have a game in hand on Teesside still, but a win for Teesside still would put them up to third with... If they were able to score 2+ goals, they'll have a more favourable goal difference. So much exciting action everywhere you look. Live on Court A, Kai Shah and Dylan Palmer will be calling the action between Manchester City and West Bromwich Albion Dudley. So you said it's going to be a high-scoring game, David. Give me a prediction.
I think Leeds are going to take it, and I think it's going to be 3-2.
3-2.
3-2. I think it's going to be a very interesting, and I think many players will play very well, and I think it will be a very physical game as well. They've both got very physical middlemen, Liam Chadwick from Leeds and Oscar Mulgrew and Jamil Khan for Teesside. So I think it should be a very physical but very entertaining game.
I hope that is the case. I will preface to say that Leeds Dynamos do have only 4 players at their disposal, and with them key players out of action, if Teesside Steel are ever going to capitalise on their opposition, this is the chance to do so. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Teesside Steel, but as long as it's competitive, it doesn't worry me too much which way it goes.
In overall sense, I do think that individual players will change the game. I think it's not going to be there's not going to be much in it. There really isn't going to be much in it. I think it's going to be individual moments. It's going to be moments that pull out the hat and just amaze us. That's what I think.
Yeah, so I commentated on Leeds Dynamo's earlier 3-1 win over Hull and East Yorkshire. Hull and East Yorkshire went 1-0 up in that fairly early on. So they had to readjust and they had to try and figure out a game plan past Hull and East Yorkshire. I will say, you talk about big players having a big impact. Liam Chadwick in that one was sensational. Two assists and a goal saw him be the real difference between them two in that one. If he can replicate that in this, he could be the game changer. But as you've alluded to, I think the central battle is going to be key to this, and whoever can get the better of their opponent in and around that centre area, most likely to be Liam Chadwick versus Oscar Mulgrew, I think we'll see that be the difference between the two.
I also think that will be both teams hit the ball really hard, and that the ball will be flying around everywhere. It will be very quick, very fast-paced game, and I think both teams are going to have to adapt to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So teams just on their final warm-ups. We will be underway very shortly. Thomas Met back in contention for this fixture, having missed out through suspension in their earlier victory over West Bromwich Albion Dudley. Match officials for this one. In the centre, Jeff Lewis, complemented by Dave Morris and Lee Brennan.
You can see when the teams are warming up here, they're both hitting the ball really, really hard, and they're both going for it. They're both making chances, even under pressure, not under pressure, and they're just looks like it's going to be an entertaining game even before it's kicked off.
Yeah, worth noting that I think of the games I've commentated on so far today, this one has the most people watching from both court level and on the mezzanines. This was a fixture that many had down to be one of the standouts of the weekend, praying that it plays out that way. Let's clear those graphics so you can see the final warm-ups and team talks from these two teams.
Jeff Lewis calling the captains in now to decide the coin toss.
Should there be any goals on court A between Manchester City and West Bromwich Albion Dudley, we will strive to ensure that you're given those as soon as they go in. That you're joining myself, Ryan Sipple and David D for this very intriguing matchup.
Looks like Leeds have kick-off. Jeff Lewis just waiting just to get it underway, and should be a kick-off of the star game of the weekend.
Absolutely. So, just a thumbs up from the keepers. And Jeff Lewis blows the whistle to kick off proceedings. Teesside Steel versus Leeds Dynamos in the 2024-25 Optegra Championship. To go through the team lineups in their entirety, you've got Isaac Murray in the yellow designated goalkeeper jersey of Teesside Steel. In the centre, you're going to have either one of Jamil Khan or Oscar Mulgrew, fairly fluid between them. Up top, you've got Thomas Met. For these Dynamos, they have Reece Stewart. In the centre, they have Liam Chadwick with Jack McNaughton and Ben Robinson.
It's got through to the back. Oh.
Yeah, that's something we saw in their earlier 3-1 victory over Hull and East Yorkshire's, how clinical they are at set pieces and finding them accuracies on corner kicks and kick-ins. Aided their performance greatly, so keep an eye on that as the game progresses. But early danger signs for Teesside Steel.
I think this battle going on right now is going to be key in the game.
Yeah.
Two very experienced players, two players that are very physical but very good technically, and I think that will be the main matchup, and I think whoever wins that battle will decide the winner of this game.
I wonder if Jeff Lewis looks to his book at all to award yellow cards. It is that type of battle, very feisty, very fiery.
They've both got some aggression in them, and I think they'll to win, they'll use whatever they can just to win.
Don't underestimate what a win for either one of these two teams would do in their pursuit of that third place playoff. Ben Robinson trying to find Jack McNaughton.
But Oscar Mulgrew cuts it out. Very physical, got quite a strong prowess on the pitch, but the keeper's been called into action here just to keep it safe.
I will say, and I apologise for viewers having difficulty distinguishing between the two teams, they're both in white and blue, so if anyone has difficulty separating the two, we do apologise. We'll ensure our commentary talks it through. As Liam Chadwick tries to evade that attacking pressure of Teesside Steel, met by Jamil Khan. David, you've already mentioned how key a battle this is and how we're likely to see the ball locked between these two players for the majority of the game. And that's proving to be the case here.
I mean, with Jamil's England experience, I know he's played for England in the past, and it's just, I think he'll have to take that experience and just use it as much as he can, just to hopefully get his team the win.
Chadwick down to McNaughton. Oscar Mulgrew just cushions that into the side of his chair.
And it's a Teesside kick-in.
Yeah.
Just come off Jack McNaughton there.
I think the 2-on-1 was awarded just prior to the ball going out. It's an indirect free kick to be taken by Jamil Khan. As we predicted, very even in the opening 3.5 minutes. As Thomas Met gets his first major involvement, trying to return the favour to Oscar Mulgrew. Can't quite keep it in play.
Just a little bit too heavy of a touch. Just a slightly softer, and it would have been perfect for a double touch.
Yeah. Thomas Met. Good pass from Oscar Mulgrew.
That beautiful, beautiful pass, that.
The ball just trapped between Chadwick and Thomas Met. An attempt on goal from Benjamin Robinson. Jamil Khan.
Oh, swing and a miss.
Yeah, but had he made contact, Thomas Met would have been set away there. Just opened up. And I think that's something we will see, because with both teams, they will have attacking intent. You'll see areas that the opposition will be looking to exploit. Jamil Khan into Oscar Mulgrew.
Through to Met. Oh, now he's got to get it back in. Just trying to dig it out there, Oscar Mulgrew. And he's won himself a corner.
Yeah, brilliantly so. And if they're able to replicate what they did earlier today in their fixture against West Bromwich Albion Dudley, they'll open the scoring here. Jamil Khan provided 2 beautiful assists to Oscar Mulgrew in that one, but they're switching. Isaac Murray taking responsibility of this one, so switching slightly. So Isaac Murray to take. Into Oscar Mulgrew.
Bit of a different corner tactic, never seen that one before. Both come together and then split away. Interesting.
So Jamil Khan to take the resulting kick in. Fires it into that left-hand post. I think he was looking for the ricochet.
Heavy contact there, not given though.
I think we're going to see that a lot throughout this fixture, so sensible for Jeff Lewis just to let that go, keep the game live and running. As of present, 6.5 minutes in, you would say they're just cancelling each other out, David.
They really are. There's been no real moments so far. There's been no real standout player yet. And that's all that game needs is one moment just to change the scoreline.
Yeah, it's so often the case that it just sometimes needs a moment of magic.
Oh, and that nearly was it.
To just put the game into life, and absolutely that was nearly it. Jamil Khan latching on to the end of Thomas Met's pass. It just trickled past that left-hand post, but you have to say that Teesside's still the better of the two in terms of attacking intent in the opening 7 minutes. Isaac Murray has had little to nothing to do in way of defensive work.
I do think that as well, and then Oscar Mulgrew is hitting the ball really hard, distributing it to his wingers, doing really well at keeping up in their end.
it's a conversation I had on commentary with Thomas Met about just that anticipation and that readiness for the ball to come to you when you're in them attacking wide areas. So that's something I'll be looking for in his game. He may be isolated for large percentages of the play, but in a second, you've spoken about the accuracy, the power of Oscar Mulgrew. The same can be applied to Jamil Khan. Being ready to capitalise if that they can find that diagonal crossfield ball could prove the difference. So one to watch. That's
a great ball.
Kind of what I'm referring to. Just the ball can be locked up in the centre. Oscar Mulgrew can find his team a little bit of space and just fire it up the court.
Just needs to get the flick out here now, which he has got. But great defending from Ben Robinson.
Yeah, absolutely. So Reece Stewart to take the resulting goal kick. Jack McNaughton yet to really impart his influence on the game, put himself into some fantastic areas in their earlier win over Hull. But Leeds, not quite getting their attacking play going, absorbing some pressure.
And it's Thomas Met on the attack now, but saved by the Leeds goalkeeper and out for a corner.
Yeah, good work from Reece Stewart there. But so similarly matched.
I can just see Isaac Murray just getting on the end of this and just putting it in between the Leeds players and just, or maybe he's gone to the back stick.
So when I referenced what they were able to do in their earlier win over West Bromwich Albion Dudley, it was exactly that. Jamil Khan with a set piece, kind of Isaac Murray was acting as that screen and that kind of that false intention, and then it was fired over to Oscar Mulgrew. Unlucky on that occasion, but you can see how and why they would be effective when executed right.
Good contacts on that pass, but a little better timing would have got a great pass to Thomas Met there.
As you would have seen on your screens a few moments ago, currently 0-0 between Manchester City and West Bromwich Albion Dudley. At the half-time break, we'll bring you the live league standings to see how both this result and the one on Court A influence the table.
And it's this battle. It's just constantly, this is where the game is going to be won and lost between Khan and Chadwick. It's just going to, that is going to be won and lost, this game between them.
Chadwick yet to really find those passing lanes to Ben Robinson and or Jack McNaughton. So you would say in the opening 10 that Jamil Khan getting the better of the battle.
So far, but the game's not over yet, though.
No, not at all. Eleven and a half minutes played. Teesside still 0. Leeds Dynamos 0. As we predicted, so closely contested.
And it's nearly gone in between the two defenders, and that should be a foul, I think.
Jeff Lewis did have the whistle in his mouth, ready to blow in Teesside Steel's favour.
I'm surprised. I thought it would be a contact foul, to be honest.
Must have been just out of the box. So, if it was a contact foul, we've got a direct free kick here.
I think it was a 2-on-1, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. There was contact between them. Didn't quite catch Jeff Lewis's signal, but indirect, of course, means indirect. So it has to go via the chair of an opponent.
Looks like they tried a bit of a boom there. Thought something a bit different, but Ben Robinson is now driving it up the pitch, but it's swiftly stopped by Jamil Khan.
Yeah, you have to say it's brilliant work from him. And if you're assessing percentages and the areas of action on this fixture, Leeds Dynamos just haven't been able to break into Teesside Steel's defensive half. They not finding a way to bypass Jamil Khan, which is a credit to the role he's performing.
I think they're obviously playing both. I think both teams are playing really well, but Teesside, they're moving the ball better. They're distributing it better. Jamil Khan is getting the better of Liam Chadwick in these battles, and I just think it's going to get down to who can move the ball best.
Yeah, completely. Something that I think Teesside Steel have openly acknowledged is just that consistency. They tend to perform better against the better teams. So if they can find that consistency, there's no reason why they can't really challenge towards the top of the division. It really will be fascinating to see that race for third into game weeks 4 and 5.
This Leeds side is obviously going to be very well drilled and very well coached, obviously because it's by Lewis Harris, and I just think he'll know what to do at this in the second half, and I think it will be very, very entertaining if they can get going, Leeds.
Yeah, an opportunity there, arguably their best of the game. Jack Norton couldn't quite get the angle to trouble Isaac Murray, but they're starting to find a little bit more success in attack. Can they maintain that? 5.5 minutes left of this first half as Jamil Khan sends it into the box of Leeds Dynamos.
A big part of Teesside's game is what I think is their pressing. Their pressing catches so many teams out. And you see like that, there, they've just scored from pressing.
Yeah, perfectly assessed, David. That epitomises their game and a brilliant way to open the scoring. Liam Chadwick desperately trying to bypass Jamil Khan. We've spoken about that battle being so crucial to the potential outcome, and on that occasion it was absolutely the case. Jamil Khan getting the better of the two, limiting the space and getting the deflection. Teesside Steel 1, Leeds Dynamos 0, and you have to say, David, they're good value for it.
I really do think they are. I think they've been the better team in this game so far, and I think the pressing is just a showcase of what they've been doing all season, to be honest, pressing and then breaking them down and then putting them under pressure, and then obviously the end result is scoring.
Leeds Dynamos looking for an immediate reply. This is probably the longest sustained spell of possession they've had in the defensive half of Teesside all game. And we've had 16 minutes, so it shows how effective Teesside have been at limiting the opportunities of their opposition. And as has been the case for large percentages of this matchup, Jamil Khan and Liam Chadwick locked in a 50-50 battle. Nice from Liam Chadwick there to initially just wrong foot Jamil Khan, but he readjusts.
So swift with his movement of his chair. He just doesn't matter where the ball is, he will be able to get to that ball. He'll be able to adjust the speed, the angle, the position, and he's just an excellent player all around.
Yeah, completely agree. Chadwick into, or certainly intended for Jack McNaughton, a crucial interception by Jamil Khan. Thomas Met has been very isolated for this game. Two and a half minutes remaining. Mulgrew.
Lee's just lacked that little bit of firepower, that little bit of just getting the ball up the pitch to even have a shot in the first place. They're just lacking that final bit of like a bit of oomph, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I will say that seemed to be the case against Hull and East Yorkshire earlier, but I think as the game grew on, they tried to capitalise as Thomas Met's going to have an opportunity
and he
here.
Scores.
A brilliant goal.
What a pass by Oscar Mulgrew.
Yeah.
2-0 up.
Completely agree. Thomas Met will be absolutely delighted with that. We spoke about him being ready and anticipating them cross-field balls. And on that occasion, he did so brilliantly. And 2 minutes before the half-time break, they doubled their lead. I was just going to go on to explain that Leeds Dynamos kind of know it's a 40-minute fixture and don't rush anything, and will have kind of an intention to capitalise on opposition when they're a bit more tired and a little bit more worn out.
That turn from Jamil Khan is just so slick, so natural to him almost. It's insane. It's just his control of his chair is ridiculous.
It was fantastic. I have to give credit to Isaac Murray though as well, because the times where he's just relieved pressure with sharp, accurate passing to his teammate has essentially turned defence into an immediate attack. So I don't think we should discredit the role he plays in that. But yeah, that use of chair and deception from Jamil Khan was sensational.
Although Thomas Met hasn't been involved in the game so much, I think he's been called upon when he's needed, and obviously the goal has shown that he delivers when he needs to.
So often the case with high and wide wingers that they are isolated for 80-90% of the game, but them 10%, the 10% in which they will be involved can be game-changing if they get it right.
It's a good pass there from Oscar Mulgrew. Can he do something with it?
Yeah, ricochet. Troubles Rhys Stewart initially, cross-field ball.
He switched it across. Can he get in? Oh, just missed the ball.
Yeah, didn't quite get the angle. We've had the regulation 20, so now into any additional time. Totted up by Jeff Lewis. But you have to say, great half of football from Teesside still.
Incredible. Fluid. The passing has been excellent. The physicality in the playing has been superb. Everyone has played their role and no one's been particularly bad. No one actually has been particularly outstanding. I think they've all shown a very high level of playing.
It's just been a real collective performance, and that's something we're seeing across their season as it progresses. It's just that common understanding and that chemistry, which was absolutely the case against West Bromwich Albion Dudley earlier, and is proving to be so in this one against Leeds Dynamos. Let's bring up the league table as it currently sits, factoring in the live scores on Court A and Court B, because I think that's the perfect way to show how close it is at the top, firstly, but what this result does for Teesside Steel. Teesside Steel up into third, which will be their highest placement of the season so far. More favourable goal difference than Manchester United, currently in fourth. So crucial win, a crucial 3 points potentially for Teesside Steel, who will have quiet aspirations of securing that third place playoff. But as we've already mentioned, this is the halfway point. At the conclusion of today's fixtures will be the halfway point of the season. So much can change in the remaining game weeks in the Championship, and there's no reason why a Sale United, why a West Bromwich Albion Dudley, if they pick up some momentum and some pace and they string together a few wins, why they can't then be considered for that conversation.
I completely agree with you. I think we just need to. I'm talking from Sale's perspective. I can't talk from Dudley's perspective, but I think we just need to get rolling. I think the first and the second game weeks we played really well, and I just think today we've played well. We've had really tough opposition, of course, but I think my expectations, I want to pick up 9 out of 9 points over these next 3 games.
if certainly if you're referencing the table, so talking about Sale United specifically, your next 3 games are Manchester City in 9th, Nottingham Forest in 10th, and AFC Bournemouth Warriors in 12th. So 9 points from them games would see you end the weekend on 18. And depending on how the teams above you fare, that puts you right in the mix for 3rd.
It really does. It really, really does. I think we just obviously we can't focus on anyone else's result. We have to just focus on our own results and focus on our own performances. And I think if we do that, I think we can hopefully challenge up there. I mean, obviously we've had weekends to the squad. Well, not weekends. We've had people from our squad have left. But I think we'll come out of it stronger. I think we'll come out of it stronger.
It's compelling viewing nonetheless. But anyway, thank you to all that are tuning in, to myself and David for this one. We will be back very shortly for the second half.
No, oh, sorry.
Hello, Ryan, and welcome back. Teesside Steel versus Leeds Dynamos, a very short half-time break. You're joining myself, Ryan Sipple, and David D for the action. David, give me your thoughts on that first 20 minutes.
I think, obviously, Teesside, the scoreline shows really what's gone in the game. They've been the dominant force, and I think if Leeds want to come out with a point or more in this game, they've got to go for it. You may as well lose 3-4-0, or if you're going to push your players up. It doesn't make a difference if you lose 2-0 or 3-0.
Yeah.
Or you've got the opportunity to try and get a draw or a win even.
Yeah, completely. It's the risk versus reward. We've almost challenged Lewis Harris to look to a 4-out approach now, because it's cliche and it's so often the case, but at a 2-0 scoreline, the next goal is crucial. It either almost all but secures Teesside still the win, or it halves the deficit and brings Leeds Dynamos right back into it.
Look, I think Leeds this half, if they have any chance of getting a point out of this game, they've got to come out all guns blazing.
Yeah. As was the case in the first half, we very much suspect that battle in the centre between either Jamil Khan and or Oscar Mulgrew with Liam Chadwick will be key to deciding the outcome. And Jamil Khan definitely got the better of that exchange across the first 20. But very intrigued to see how Leeds Dynamos shape up in this second. Already it looks a little bit more expansive. It was fairly congested in them central areas in that first 20 minutes.
I think they're going to try and whip it in here, try and get it across, try and get it to Ben Robinson to get a finish. And it looks like West Brom have scored against City, or City have scored against West Brom, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll bring confirmation when we get that. Just getting their passing going will be so important for Leeds Dynamos. I don't think Isaac Murray had anything to do in terms of protecting his goal in that first half.
I think it's West Brom 1-0 versus City.
Yeah, confirmation of that on your screens now. But Jack McNaughton has a very good opportunity here. Indirect free kick. He's a dead ball specialist. Can he get the accuracy on this? Jamil Khan marking Benjamin Robinson.
Ooh.
Really crucial interception from Oscar Mulgrew, certainly putting himself in a position to just take the Leeds Dynamos number 24 out of action.
Looks like there's going to be a substitution here. The ref was signalling for a sub.
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're switching things up.
Oh, they're switching goals.
They don't have any substitutes at their disposal, so if they want to try and shift or change the narrative, they have to do so by with tactical switch-ups rather than ones off the bench. So Liam Chadwick now adorning the green goalkeeper jersey. Rhys Stewart currently in the centre. Interesting to see that central battle now, because I haven't seen Rhys Stewart play a great deal, if at all, in the centre.
It's a very interesting decision from Lewis Harris, but it might pay off.
Yeah, it may aid the 4-out approach, and that is really unfortunate for Leeds Dynamos. They just have to give credit to Teesside Steel. They've capitalised on a miscommunication and the adjustment period that Leeds Dynamos would have needed with that change.
It looks like Jeff Lewis has gone over to his linesman to discuss the goal. I don't know if he's going to give it or not.
Yeah, just re-watching it back. Jeff Lewis, such a fantastic referee. We will just understand the referee's decision before confirming the goal. Should it be awarded, Jamil Khan will be the goal scorer.
They have not awarded the goal.
No goal given, which will be of relief to Leeds Dynamos. Not quite sure why, because Teesside still have been given the indirect free kick here. Very interesting. I'll try and have a word with Jeff Lewis to understand that. Either way, relief to Leeds Dynamos, because shifting Rhys Stewart into the centre would have needed a minute or two just for him to settle within that position. Likewise, Liam Chadwick in that goalkeeper jersey. So if they're able to prevent a third Teesside Steel goal here, maybe that will be the catalyst for them to build upon. And
they've scored for
brilliantly so. I said if they can prevent a goal, Oscar Mulgrew having a sensational game, just guided the ball into the side of Thomas Met. I do think it's going to go down as an own goal. However, it did come off Rhys Stewart in the end.
It is unfortunate, but that's the way of power chair football, I guess. And it looks like Teesside are making 2 changes. Jamil Khan off and Thomas Met off. And Connolly on, and I can't quite see who the other player is.
Yeah, so Luke Heenan and Charlie Connolly on. It's confirmation of that third Teesside Steel goal, which I've registered down as an own goal. I'm sure Thomas Met will have something to say about that. We'll have the conversation with the referees from our angle and re-watching the goal. The Thomas Met's attempt was going away from goal. It ricocheted off the side of Stewart's chair into the back of the net. Let's bring confirmation of those changes. The first one, Luke Heenan on in place of Thomas Met. And the second one, which sees Charlie Connolly come on in place of Jamil Khan.
Just saying, distribution from Oscar Mulgrew this game has been so good in the way they've just been able to move it to the wingers, and they've obviously been able to capitalise it, obviously with it being 3-0 now.
Yeah, he's found some real confidence in game week 3, which is proving the difference for Teesside Steel. I think we're just going to have a switch in the ball, whether that one has a puncture or not. We're going to switch it up and then play will resume. 12.5 minutes remaining. Confirmation from the assistant referee, Lee Brennan. The ball has split, so with a new ball
very interesting
at the bumper of Luke Heenan, we're going to resume play. And Charlie Connolly is going to have an open goal to aim at, but not before Jeff Lewis called for a set ball. The ball fired over the bumper of Reece Stewart. Nothing he could have done to prevent it going across the box. So sensibly so, the set ball will resume play. It remains Teesside Steel 3, Leeds Dynamos 0. Real shame for Leeds Dynamos. I can almost guarantee that with Jack Humphreys, Hayden Lambert and Sebastian Copeland at their disposal, this is not a 3-0 scoreline.
100% agree with you, Ryan. I thought that should be a 2, yeah.
2-on-1 awarded in favour of Teesside Steel. An indirect free kick.
In my eyes, if Oscar Mulgrew can whip this over to Connolly, that is going to be a goal. If he can just get that power on it, I think it's unstoppable.
It's just that anticipation and readiness. We saw it from Thomas Met in the first.
And that's exactly what they've done. Oh.
Couldn't quite get the angle. I think you have to give credit to Ben Robinson there. He was so well placed to just prevent Charlie Connolly loading up and getting the angle to strike cleanly.
Very clever, very clever from Oscar Mulgrew just to play it off him and just slow the game down, because they don't need to score another. They're 3-0 up.
No, it'd just be interesting to see if they start to incorporate Isaac Murray into the attacking play now, because he's been very isolated for this second half, which speaks volumes, I think, to the attacking efforts of Teesside Steel and the lack of for Leeds Dynamos.
Heavy contact there.
I will say, my own opinion, I just think Leeds Dynamos have looked a little bit weaker with Liam Chadwick in goal. I think he's more of an assertive presence in the centre, and whilst he struggled to get the better of Jamil Khan in that first 20. I think Leeds Dynamos had more control than what they're currently exhibiting.
Yeah, I just think it's an interesting change of Reece Stewart. I mean, as far as I'm aware, he's never played in the middle before.
I've never, before game week 3, I'd never seen him in goal, let alone in the centre. He's always typically that attacking wide option for Leeds Dynamos, which shows that the players are having to fill the voids vacated by their absent players. And fortunately for Liam Chadwick there, that Heenan couldn't capitalise on that loose ball, because it would have been 4-0 otherwise.
I think it would have been.
The thing they're having real trouble with at the moment is breaking the press. As Charlie Connolly.
Oh, yeah, it's 2-on-1 anyway.
So 31.5 minutes played. Teesside still 3. Leeds Dynamos 0. The term I used for their earlier win over West Bromwich Albion Dudley was professional with Teesside still. I thought it was a competent, professional win and performance, which saw them register 3 points. I'd say this isn't just professional, it's impressive from Teesside still.
And you can't underestimate Ben Robinson's performance. I think he's been cutting out the passes as well as he can. I mean, Oscar Mulgrew has been distributing it so well. It's so difficult to cut out those passes. And I just think he's had a very good performance today.
Stewart into Robinson. Just looks like Leeds Dynamos are out of ideas of how to break this side down. They look a little bit dejected. But all credit to Teesside still. They're just, everything seems to be going their way. Lee Brennan has signalled for a substitute. I think it's going to be a switch up tactically for Leeds Dynamos, a reverse of their earlier change. Probably going to see Liam Chadwick back in the centre with Reece Stewart as the designated goalkeeper. As always, thank you to all that are tuning in. Next up on Court B, Villa Rockets Lions versus Nottingham Forest. So, Luke Heenan to take, indirect.
Same place as before. Can he capitalise? Yeah. What he nearly does.
Into Oscar Mulgrew. As the standout player of game week 2 of the Championship, David, you have to say that if Oscar Mulgrew continues this form across Teesside Steel's remaining games, he will most certainly be in contention for that accolade.
100%. But as far as I'm aware, both of his games he's played today has been such a key and incredible performances, and it's clearly showing in their results.
Approaching the final 5 minutes, Teesside still 3, Leeds Dynamos 0. Jamil Khan opening the scoring before Thomas Met adding a second just 2 or 3 minutes after. And then in the second half, what's gone down as a Reece Stewart own goal, and I think that one's gone down as one as well.
Heenan scored with a celebration as well. Lucky celebration.
Yeah, indirect free kick taken by Oscar Mulgrew. It ricocheted between Reece Stewart and Luke Heenan. Luke Heenan will go down as the goal scorer. Oscar Mulgrew will go down as the provider. But what a game Teesside still are having. What a game Oscar Mulgrew is having.
It must be very disheartening though for Liam Chadwick and obviously all the rest of the Leeds squad. Just very, I think they know inside that they can do better, and I just think they're missing too many key players to.
It's something we've spoken about on commentary a lot across this season, and with Power Chair football being a four-a-side format, one player comprises 25% of your starting squad. If that player is a key player, a central player like Jack Humphreys is for Leeds Dynamos, often you'll see them be involved in 50, 60, 70% of the play. You're seeing that be the case with Oscar Mulgrew here. You take Oscar Mulgrew out this side, what impact does that have on Teesside Steel? So we have to be sympathetic to Leeds Dynamos because they're missing some key individuals.
I think they are. I just think if you took, obviously, like the scenario that you said, if you took Oscar Mulgrew out of this squad, it'd be a very, very different game, and it would be a very, very different result, I think.
It would, and when referencing Jack Humphreys, he's one of my standout players of the season so far for Leeds Dynamos, and so he's a sore miss. Not to mention the absentees of Hayden Lambert and Seb Copeland. So, yeah, just worth noting is all.
Look, I think at this point, you've just got to just hold on to your lead. You don't need to score. You don't need
You don't, but what I will say is, with it being so closely contested for that third place position, could we see it go down to goal difference?
That's a very valid point.
This goal difference sees them leapfrog Manchester United.
4-0 is it?
4-0 not only ensures they leapfrog them, it gives them a buffer as well. So we'll show you the live league standings at the conclusion of the game. But this, I believe, is Teesside Steel's greatest victory, or will be their greatest victory of the season. They're typically a team that only wins by a goal or two. I can see now that their greatest win of the season was 3-0 over Nottingham Forest. Beyond that, it's only been one goal in it for their wins.
Just outstanding performances all round. It's just very. Overall, it's just such good team effort. Even the substitutions when they've come on, they've made such a huge difference in the way that they've played.
Yeah, Thomas Met back on in place of Charlie Connolly. But absolutely echo everything you're saying, David. It's been a real collective effort. We saw Jamil Khan be the real difference in that first half, and then in the second, you have to say Oscar Mulgrew has been the best player on the court by a wide margin.
He's honest to God, he's my man of the match today, I think.
Well, I was going to ask you your player of the match. We're approaching the final minute. I suspected that would be the case. I think he was my player of the match for their early win over West Bromwich Albion Dudley. He definitely is for this one. And could we see this day of action for Teesside Steel be the real catalyst which sees them go on a real winning streak? They've got some difficult games to contest coming up, but there's no reason why, if they can't maintain this sort of form, they can't be finishing in that third position. They've got one final game today against Manchester City before fixtures against AFC Bournemouth Warriors and Hull in East Yorkshire. So you're looking at the three bottom teams in the division. So Teesside Steel will be the favourites in them. 9 further points will most certainly help that aspiration of finishing in third.
And not to take anything away from Leeds, I just think it's unfortunate that they've not had the capacity to keep going this long, to just have that final little bit of strength almost, just to push it through the net.
Yeah,
almost.
It was far more even in the first half. It was Jamil Khan capitalising and getting the better of that central battle, but it's in this second half we've just seen that margin and that gap grow. So, no, commiserations to Leeds Dynamos. Full credit to Teesside Steel. We've just ticked over into additional time, so they're going to secure their most prolific win of the season against very similarly matched opposition, certainly when referencing the stand-ins. This was arguably one of Teesside Steel's, if not Teesside Steel's, greatest win in the National League.
Possibly could be. It's just contact foul from Thomas Met there. If Teesside Steel can keep his form up for the rest of the season, for me, they are my favourites to get that third place playoff spot.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. As I mentioned earlier, Teesside Steel are a strange team in that they tend to perform better against better opposition, as Reece Stewart just prevents Thomas Met scoring there. So my challenge to Teesside Steel is being this prolific, being this brave, being this attacking against lesser opposition where we've seen them falter ever so slightly. Apologies for that, but yeah, great game. Was just having a conversation with Jeff Lewis, fantastic referee, officiating a fantastic game. Just final thoughts, David. Impressive from Teesside Steel.
Yeah, it was completely unexpected, to be honest. I think just outstanding performance from Teesside, and they've obviously still got a game to play. And I think if they can, wait, do you know who they've got next? Or
Their next game against Manchester City.
So if they can perform like this against Manchester City, I'm sure they will be able to get a result. I just think.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see, live league standings, Teesside Steel up into third with a more favourable goal difference than Manchester United. Manchester United do have a game in hand, however, as do Leeds Dynamos and Villa Rockets Lions. But what a race it's becoming for third, and hopefully just that table on your screens now shows you how competitive this division is. Thank you to all that have tuned in, to myself and David. David, thank you for joining me on commentary, hopefully the first of many.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully.
And I'll be back very shortly for Villa Rockets Lions versus Nottingham Forest. Thank you all.
Thank you.